everybody, how's it going? Nice to see you again. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a blessed day. All right, so I would encourage anyone who's interested in photography to get a 35mm camera and some lenses. I mean, it really doesn't cost that much. I mean, the thing about film is it's incremental, and it always has been. With digital, if you want the best image quality you can possibly get, which is still not as good as film, you need to spend like $3,000 on a camera body, because the high resolution, now people are going to argue with that, and everybody wants to argue about everything these days, but understand the spirit of what I'm saying. If you want to get involved in real photography, you don't need a Nikon Z7 II or a Sony A7 IV, R4, or a Canon R5, or any of these super high resolution cameras, okay? Because remember, you also need a computer with that. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars is the way to get into it. Even if you get into it with a cheap camera, all right? Film is very accessible because it's all incremental. It's like a video game. You can develop your capabilities as you go. You can pick up a really clean copy of a Pentax M6, which is a 40-year-old camera. Fantastic camera to learn on. This or a K1000 or something like that. The lenses are less than $100 a piece. You can get a 28, a 50, and a 135, or a 28, a 50, maybe an 85 or a 100. The 85 or the 100 is going to be expensive. Like, I'm talking 250 bucks. But my point is if you're really on a tight budget, or you're in high school or something, you can start out with a 35mm camera body and a lens for less than 150 bucks, okay? And then film, you can get, and then you say, oh, the film's expensive. You get the bulk rolls. You get a bulk roller. And we're talking like a bulk roll of film is 60, 70 bucks. For Arista EDU 200 or Kentmere 100, which would be my recommendation. Kentmere 400, which would be my recommendation, about 70 bucks, $75, something like that. And that's 18 rolls of film. So 18 rolls of 35, 36 exposures. Do the math on that. That's a lot of shooting. Okay. And then and what I'm saying is it's Taco Bell money. You don't have to buy it all at once. You get you spend 150 bucks, get your camera, spend 150 bucks, get some film and the bulk roller and the cartridges to load the film into. Spend $10 and get just a basic roll of Tri-X or something just to start out, to get started. You can pay as you go. You don't need $3,000 up front to start going. And so there it is. Now the alternative argument is you can pick up a cheap used digital camera for maybe a couple $100, and then you'll probably already have a computer and off you go. Okay, maybe, but if you want to get involved in film photography, it doesn't have to be expensive, is what I'm saying. And you can do it incrementally as you progress in your knowledge, and it's a lot of fun. It's a discovery. It's a journey of discovery in the sense that you get your camera, you get your film, you shoot your film, then you realize I want to process my film. So you get a changing bag, you get a tank, and all these things are under $50, and you can pay for them as you go. Okay. So I would encourage anyone who wants to get involved with film to start out with 35mm and go forth and have fun and enjoy. But the real topic here is I wanted to discuss the Leica M6. Okay, now this is not a $150 camera, but I will say that I really think it's one of the greatest cameras of all time. There aren't too many cameras. I mean, there's no argument about this. The Leica M6, the Leica M series in general, is legendary and iconic. The M6 is so iconic that Leica brought it back in 2022. And with arguably some improvements. So what did they do differently? So this camera is from 1993, so it's 32 years old. It works 100%. If it stopped working 100, and it's in beautiful condition. So yeah, love that camera. This is a 0.72 viewfinder. If you know Leica, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know Leica, don't worry about it. It's not important. And so it's a rangefinder. And so you look through here, look through there. And by the way, I ordered from B&H a brand new, because they still make them, diopter correction lens right there. And it screws in there. And that's it. It's screwed in. Now it's a nice rubber. It looks like you wouldn't even know it was a diopter correction lens in there. And that's a +1, and it seems to work. I wear +1.5 reading glasses now because I'm an old geezer. 10 years ago, I had perfect vision, so I was blessed with that, and I'm happy. I mean, my dad wore glasses his whole life, so I can't complain. I only have to wear glasses for the last part of it. Hopefully that's many, many, many more years. However, I can get a diopter correction lens, and you compose your pictures through here. There's frame lines, and make sure you don't have the lens cap on because you're not looking through the lens. But that's a benefit in some ways. Anyway, so that's a rangefinder, and it works great. It's unobtrusive. There are 10 controls on this camera, and it is such a breath of fresh air. It's so refreshing. And that's why I really like the Pentax M6 as well. This is the SLR version of this camera, in the sense that it's a completely mechanical shutter, and the meter is just there to help you out. These cameras, both of these cameras, work without batteries in all modes, except for the light meter, which is just a helper. It's not absolutely necessary. They're 100% mechanical cameras. The shutters work off of springs and gears and things like that, which is wonderful. But the point that I'm trying to make is there's only the controls you need. There's nothing superfluous on here. There's no automated modes. There's no automatic anything. It's manual focus, but it's so much easier than second guessing a computer. And that's the key, right? You load the film, you wind the film, you set your shutter speed, you set your aperture, you focus, and you're done. How hard is it to focus? Well, if you know what you're shooting and you know the distance, you've got a focus scale on the lenses. This is the 3514 Voigtlander Nocton Classic MC multi-coated. Lovely lens, and very sharp. Really enjoy it. And so I can set a hyperfocal distance, or if I estimate the distance to a subject, say it's 10 feet away, I can set 10 feet or 3 meters. Or if it's critical, like I'm shooting at f1.4 and I really want to make sure I get the shot, I use the rangefinder and make sure. And the rangefinder is absolutely accurate. I mean, unless it's not an adjustment, it's wonderful. It's precise. So it's much easier to focus with this camera. It's easier to focus with this camera than it is with an SLR, because that rangefinder is absolutely big and bright and bold, I think. So there it is. The real key is that the lenses are teeny tiny. They're all solid brass and glass, and no plastic. Well, there's a little bit of plastic. The knob thing down here is plastic, but well, this is a Voigtlander lens. It's not a Leica lens. The Leica lenses are a little on the expensive side, but they're worth it. I have the 50 f2 Summicron, and that's the one Leica lens I have. And I really enjoy it. The Nocton lenses are fine. The Voigtlander lenses are fine. I find them really nice. The thing I don't understand is when, with the reason why these lenses can be so small and compact is because there's no mirror box that they have to account for, and the camera itself is very narrow. Well, why are the digital lenses for digital mirrorless cameras so big? I don't get that. But whatever. So the differences in the new reissue and why that may be the preferred camera. First of all, they're 30 years newer. Second of all, they did away with these buff pads here, these plastic pads. And with heavy use, these can break off, and there's 2 holes in the top plate that will let light in. So you have to sugu them closed or tape them closed or get it repaired. And if it's solid metal, it's not going to, it doesn't have a hole. So, you know, and I think that the leather strap protector is a better program anyway. These are superfluous and they're a point of failure. Granted, you know, you have to really beat the heck out of your cameras. And but these cameras are 50, 60-year cameras, maybe longer. And so, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but when you're talking about Leica M, there are many people that are shooting with Leica M's from 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I don't know if they made them that long ago. 1954. So since 1954, and they're still using them. So we're talking about, you know, this is a camera for life, not just until the next model comes out with a new sensor in it and the new AI chip. All right. So that's number one. Number two, the top plate is now brass, and I have mixed feelings about that. The zinc is probably more robust. If you bang this camera hard enough to crack the top plate, and zinc cracks, it doesn't dent. If you had had a brass top plate, you probably would have done internal damage to the camera anyway, because the brass would have deformed so badly. So, you know, people say brass feels better. I don't know. This feels pretty luxurious to me. If I had the choice, would I go brass? I don't know. I'm happy with that. I'm happy saving the $3,000 over the cost of a new one. I'll tell you that much. So there is that. And then the last thing that I would say is that people are saying that the meters are dying in these because of the electronics. And that's after 30 years. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I mean, some have. Rumor has it that Leica themselves are working for a replacement circuit board for these meters so that these cameras have a repairable life into the future. Whether Leica comes up with that or not, I don't know. It wouldn't be that hard for them because they're still making the M6. They have a new circuit board evidently that's just supposedly doesn't fit, needs modification, whatever. Amsterdam Camera Repair a couple of years ago was working on a replacement light meter circuit. I don't see it as that big a deal because without if your meter breaks in these cameras, the camera is still 100% fully capable of taking photographs in the sense that it's just the Leica M4P at that point. All the shutter speeds still work, everything works, you just don't have a meter. Get an external meter like you do with an M3 or an M4P or whatever. So those are the differences between the classics and the reissues. And I really, it's become one of my favorite cameras. I've shot with these cameras in the past, and I don't know, I just wasn't in a place where they made sense to me for what I was doing. They totally make sense to me now as an everyday walk-around camera. And I really enjoy the small little lens. I mean, it's what the Fuji X100 6 is trying to emulate. It's what the Fuji X Pro 1, 2, and 3 were trying to emulate. Small little lenses. There's a reason why they call them the Fujicrons, those little Fuji lenses. Why screw around? Shoot the real thing, you know? It's where it's at. So, and having said all that, just screwing around shooting a couple of test rolls to make sure the cameras work, to make sure the lenses were good, etc. I've already come away with like a bunch of images. This is dry mounted and ready to go. I need to, I stamped it and I need to cut the mat and finish it off and frame it. But I've already got portfolio level shots that, I mean, you can buy this on my website right now. I've already got like shots on the test rolls that are like, film is that way, you know. It's just once you get all your ducks in a row and you get all your infrastructure lined out in terms of darkroom and sink and ventilation and all these things, which aren't that hard, okay? Once you get that all lined out and all fixed up, film is much easier than digital. And film printing in a darkroom is much easier than digital. And it's faster to get better results. Sounds crazy, but it's true. A lot of people complaining and bitching and moaning have never shot film and don't know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about. But I'll tell you right now, I've done both. And I find digital to be much more difficult because there's too many choices. There's too many parameters. There's the window of opportunity is this big, and the print of greatness is that big. And with film, the window's this big and the greatness is that big. With film, it's much easier to get down to that nth degree perfect print than it is with digital. I can do it with digital, but I need to print it in the darkroom first to know what it's supposed to look like. That sounds ridiculous, but that, I mean, we're talking the nth degree here of black and white, you know, and, you know, Michael Kenna level prints, and Ansel Adams, you know, different genre. I'm going more for the Michael Kenna kind of intimate landscape kind of a print. But anyway, all right, well, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Please subscribe. Small channels, you know, and all the rest of that. Really, there's nothing pumping my YouTube algorithm. So if you somehow stumbled upon this video and you liked it, please subscribe. And I have, my book is out. That's on my website if you'd like to take a look at that. And my Patreon page is cooking right along, and I really appreciate all my Patreon supporters. As soon as the weather breaks and as soon as we get some stuff going on, we're going to be posting a lot. I got great plans for all of this, for YouTube and for Patreon, etc. You can join for free. You can join for $1 a month, which is half a candy bar, and have access to everything. Or you can support me greater than that, and that is very much appreciated. So we'll see you out there, and have a great one. Bye.